And welcome back to another wonderful episode of the Convoluted Podcast. It's your host Liz, excuse me. I'm Liz. And your also awesome co-host is the Tyrant Dominus, aka Jesus. And if it's your first time listening, you can always subscribe. And if you don't want to, you can unsubscribe. But we would like the followership, please. Thank you. How are you, Jesus?
Good. It's been a positive week at least for myself, though in the last few days in the Pacific Northwest it is surprisingly snowing for us. The weather seems to be jumping up and down every once in a while. We had some nice, reasonably, I'm gonna say, warm days, but it was like yeah, it was comfortable. You could be outside for a little bit and just take a nice comfortable walk, but then these last few days it's like been snowing. And that's just us complaining a little bit. Minor complaining. The rain. I'm fine with rain. I'm personally fine with rain because I enjoy
rain and cold.
Oh no, rain and cold, different combination. But yeah. And how about yourself? How has your week been?
It's been chaotic. I've done a lot of hybrid shifts this week, and I'm kind of like exhausted. I was managing 2 departments at one point. One of these days, and the other days I kind of did a split where I worked in one point and I went to the other for a couple hours. Like, yeah, my brain was kind of fried, I'm not gonna lie.
Damn. What's fun?
But we had fun last night.
Yes, we got
That's all that matters. That's highlight.
Yeah, we went to celebrate your birthday this weekend, having some trivia night. So yeah, everyone wish Liz a happy birthday in the comments. Hit her with the follows on Instagram and TikTok. But yeah, it was fun. It's been a long time since I've done trivia night myself. It's been like years. But it was fun. We had a good group for your place. You found a really nice, quaint, like brewery/bakery. I really enjoyed it. The whole group was fun. We won the trivia night. Can you believe that, guys?
Surprisingly weird.
We went from last place to first. That's how amazing we were.
The underdogs. Whoop, whoop.
But we did have kind of the advantage in numbers a little bit. We won't deny that, but yeah, it was fine.
The what? 8 of us? 9 of us? I don't know. There was quite a big.
There were a good amount of us, yeah. But overall, it's just for fun. It was enjoyable. It was more for a gathering for your birthday to wish you a good time. Overall, it was fun. Thank you for the invitation for everyone being there. Yeah. So yeah, it was good. On top of that,
do it again soon.
True. On top of that, I personally got to meet up with one of our past coworkers and friends. It was good to catch up myself. It's one of those things where it's rare because we're all at this point in our lives, we're all working adults with busy lives. So getting these small moments to meet up with people it's difficult. It's very difficult. Actually, recently I've been in the DMs with a couple people to just catch up, try to similar to yourself. It's just kind of grab lunch with people, things like that nature. I'm not the biggest when it comes to that, but when you want to just do something like that, I think grabbing a breakfast, a coffee, a lunch is the easiest way to. It's not invasive. You just want to catch up, quick meal, simple, easy. So that's what I would say. Yeah. So once again,
it was a great night.
So once again, happy birthday to Liz. Weekend. Yes, there you go. But yeah, definitely your weekend's still going to be a wild one. So we'll see how you can let us know next week on how the rest of your weekend turned out.
All right, sounds good. It's gonna be fun. The work can't call me in.
Ooh, that is a bonus. That is a bonus. All right then, go for it. You have this first story of the day.
Oh yes, I do. I thought it was funny. I thought it was interesting. We were all sad. our machines are listening to us.
It's always, we know this.
And some of us, we all think that some of our stuff is watching us too.
That is a given.
How about this? Students discover M&M'S vending machine is spying on them.
Interesting.
Students at the University of Waterloo in Canada has expressed their dismay after discovering the M&M'S vending machine installed on their campus has been spying on them. Oh, you guys didn't know that? Any screen is a machine to watch. The drama unfolded after a Redditor by the name of Squid Kid 47 posted an error message displayed on the machine, which said Invenda vending facial recognition app X application error. Hey, so why do the stupid M&M machines have facial recognition? Wrote the Redditor, identified as a student called River Stanley by Ars Technica, who is a writer for the student newspaper News. After investigating, Stanley discovered the smart vending machines were provided by Adaria Vending Services, which is manufactured by the Invenda Group. But it's Mars, which owns M&M'S, that actually owns the machines. Stanley reached out to the Inveda Group, which responded by stating an individual person cannot be identified using the technology in the machines. What's most important to understand is that the machines do not take or store any photos or images, and as an individual person cannot be identified using the technology in the machines, the statement reads. The technology acts as a motion sensors that detects faces so the machine knows when to activate the purchasing interface, never taking or storing images of customers. Invenda says the machines are GDPR compliant, European regulations that legislate for how corporations can collect data on citizens. It does not engage in storage, communication, or transmission of imagery or personal identifiable information. Invenda Group statement continues. So I guess what we can understand, there's like no actual like way of it violating people's.
That's true. It's one of those things where it's under Canadian policies, so we don't. I'm not very familiar with Canadian. I don't even know American policies that well, but to even think about Canadian policies is another thing. But definitely the idea of getting spied upon is, I think, what's more.
Freaks out everybody.
I think that's what scares people. Like, at this point, it's a given that our devices listen to us. You know, some people would try to deny it, but they listen to us. Like, there's no question about it. They are active to a sense. Like, I was talking to this to one of my cousins the other day, how my phone tracks my location because of its GPS. And it gives me a monthly report like, yeah, you've been in this place for this long. You've been in this city for this long. Oh, you traveled to a news place. Congratulations. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. And then we've talked about news stories where people got caught because of their GPS phones. You know?
Yeah, it's true though. But I mean, it's also, it's kind of good too, because especially when you have a lot of people who are missing or, you know, kidnapped or something happens to them, you'll be able to catch them. I mean, it's been awesome because especially when my aunt had crashed the car and careened herself over the ledge, nobody would have been able to see her if it wasn't for the OnStar that was on there. So they would not have, if they had not GPS'd her, we don't know if they would have been able to find her. That's how bad it was.
Ooh, rough.
It was that covered. So, yes, there's some benefits, but there are disadvantages too of it. So, do you really like it? No. Do you like it when it helps something? Yes. So it's a catch-22.
So what are your thoughts then? Are you for or against it? I'm
for tracking because it helps. It really does make me a peace of mind. My mom has my tracking. I have my mom on my phone so I can track her, especially when she goes out of out of state and she happens to be in a place that I'm, I can't contact her all the time, but I can, kind of see what she's up to, or she made it to the airport safely. So I know for my well-being that she's in a safe spot. So I know that, oh, she got to the airport. She's making the flight. We're good. Like, I don't have to worry, thereafter. So it's kind of a nice thing. Yeah, it's a little bit spyish, but it's convenience too for me. It's like, oh, I don't have to like ask my mom, like, or she didn't have to ask me where I'm at all times. She can track me. Like, oh yeah, I see her. She's over at her friend's house. Oh, she's on her way there. She's safe, Or oh, she's in Sherwood. She's coming home. She'll be home soon. So.
Okay. I'm with you in that idea of shared or consensual tracking or surveillance, basically. It's when it comes like once it becomes like that you're not consenting to that. That's when it's like,
Yeah, I get it. They're invading your privacy when you don't consent to it. Absolutely.
So, like, at least for my home has a you know this. My home has a bunch of security, and we display a sign that says this place is like you are being recorded at this time when you hit the premises. That's one of those things, like, you are being notified, even if it's that minimum. At minimum, you should at least let a person know that they are being recorded, and depending on where the premises is or being tracked with devices, or there should be a little bit more happenstance when it comes to these things with these devices, with these apps and stuff of that nature. Mostly when it's just a public stuff like vending machines and things that were
yeah, that's a little invasive because you don't consent to that stuff. There's no thing on there saying, "Hey, we're watching you."
It's like next thing
warning.
It's like next thing you know, like vending machines of old. Imagine if that before you put in the number, the three number code for vending machines, you would have to pay like the year you were born, and then if you had what gender you were, it tracks to see, oh, this demographic buys this product at this time. That's tracking back in the day. So
I don't remember doing that on there.
No.
Vending machines.
No, but imagine if that's what they did.
Oh, that's shitty.
No, they didn't do that. It's like, it's not that old.
I know they don't do it. I'm just saying they better not, because that sucks. Because I didn't consent to that. No, they don't need to know I buy it. Well, maybe I have a food allergy. Which, by the way, I have way too many, apparently.
God, you're just a bag full of sickness at this point.
I know. My body hates me.
Poor genetics. Okay. Let's continue. I want to talk about dealing with actually the food. So, luckily, this has been retracted, but originally, Wendy's wanted to do something what people were calling, which was price surging or surge pricing. So when you hear that, what do you think of that? Like during the day, during points of
surge pricing, I feel like they're trying to up the prices so they can compensate, which I don't know. That's kind of ridiculous. You expect Wendy's to be a cheap meal, so you go and get there for your cheap meal. Hence why one of my favorite places that have been around since the 1950s haven't raised their prices, and they still treat their employees amazingly.
So yeah, let's jump into this article a little bit. So don't call Wendy's new pricing plan surge pricing. So back in a blog post on Tuesday, this was recently, the fast food chain explained that its test of new menus with prices that change throughout the day is not meant to cost more for customers. So that's what originally was supposed to do. It's like the prices were supposed to change depending on the time of day. So probably.
So they didn't make as much of that product during that day because nobody wants to pay that price? That's what I'm understanding. I'm interpreting it.
So my understanding was, say during rush hour, food, lunch and stuff, my understanding, probably the general public's understanding is like, oh, lunchtime, sir, make the price of a burger 50 cents more or 25 cents more because people want to be buying burgers. So like, price it up a little bit more. So let's find out let's see what they meant then. This was a misconstructed in some media reports as intended to raise prices when the demand is highest at our restaurants. The company statement read, digital menu boards could allow us to change the menu offerings at different times of day and offer discounts and value offers to a customer more easily, particularly in the slower times of day. So that's what they were trying to do. Because yeah, a lot of menus in fast food restaurants have gone digital. We've seen this. Like you go into restaurants, you go to the drive-thru, it's all digital menus at this point. Or am I wrong?
Except for one of my favorite ones. They don't.
For fast food?
They have not changed the menu.
A fast food restaurant? Which one?
In-N-Out. They have not digitalized.
Interesting.
You go to the menu and it's still the same old like sheet thing. I mean, like granted, it's got a light behind it, but that's not really digital if it's got a light behind it to see it. But I mean, like,
wait, how many In-N-Outs are there?
How many In-N-Outs are there? Mel sent me a video recently for it. Quite a bit. I want to say 11, a little over 1,100 of them. Oh no, 853.
There's only 417. 417.
I swear Mel gave me a video about
As of January 2024, In-N-Out, there's only 417 locations.
I'm gonna have to look it up because it's gonna drive me bonkers because you say that, but
yeah, all I did was Google how many In-N-Outs on there. How many In-N-Out burger restaurants are there in the United States? 417 locations, 17 states and territories, 275 cities.
$387. Okay, you're right. Okay.
But yeah, I don't see a reason for them to go digital. They're too small, and that's saying something too. So there's
they're a small chain, but they haven't gone digital, which is still great. I mean, you know that the menu isn't going to change. Just
true. But at this point, there's no reason for them to change. Like I said, they're not that large scaled at this point. But that's beside the point. Going back to the price surging. No, it's not price surging, but the idea makes sense. If you're selling, the idea they're trying to portray is during the slower time of the day, if they reduce prices on some items, people will probably buy more. And that's kind of the idea that does happen. People do buy more when it's cheaper. Because you think like, oh, it's cheaper, I spend less. Some mentality is, oh, it's cheaper, I can buy more. That's the mentality of most Americans. Is like, it's not like,
well, like just back on Leap Day, they some of the sales the grocery stores had were to reduce some of the pricing. So I know they got more than they bargained for.
So there was an email that was sent to CNN that was Wendy was more blunt. Wendy's will not implement surge pricing, which is the practice of raising prices when demand is highest. This is not a change in the plans. It was never our plan to raise prices when customers are visiting us the most. But the questions over what to call Wendy's experiments: surge pricing, dynamic pricing. That's what I heard. I heard dynamic pricing. Something else underscore PR problem around the pricing system that's already been used for years in a range of industries, from ride sharing to airlines to your local happy hour. Yeah. Like it's a thing that it happens in industries. We just haven't seen it in the fast food industry yet, right? So
that's true.
I in my opinion, I enjoy the sound of dynamic pricing a little bit because that's kind of what it is. It might not be as drastic as the word dynamic sounds, but it is one of the things that you'll be seeing. Because here's the thing: if it works well for Wendy's, it's more than likely to happen in other restaurants, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, they explain what price surging is. We already talked about. Whoever calls it surge pricing made it the worst marketing mistakes you can think of. Yeah, whoever put out that statement kind of screwed up a little bit. Surge pricing sent a message to everyone that's mostly about increasing pricing. That's what I thought. You see, this is where when it becomes a marketing problem. Whoever was in charge of that screwed up, because definitely words in marketing for a large scale business can really screw up a lot of things. Look what happened when a CEO for the company we talked about last week just went on it with a simple TikToker and ruined his company. Like, words mean a lot of things depending on how you say it. Now, this is a little bit more just mismanaged words, but definitely when someone says surge pricing, that's like, I don't like that idea. But when you say when you put it in a way where you're trying to like make it easier for people to buy during slower times of the day, because definitely I'm not a big fast food buyer on the week anymore. I like get it. I went down to maybe twice a week. I think that's as much as I buy fast food now.
I bet maybe once a month fast food.
and even then I get it during like the slow times. Like, I probably get breakfast when I get home to bring to the family, and then probably once on my day off if I don't really want to cook anything and no one's around. So, and it's usually during like the slow periods of the time. So it would be perfect for when I do it. What else? What else is important in this thing? Dynamic pricing coming to Wendy's and highlights the potential turning point. Here we go. In the technology for the fast food industry. If Wendy's idea works, it could get others to do something similar, and I wouldn't be surprised to see other chains or to test the idea themselves, given what Wendy is doing. Dynamic pricing has existed for decades for airlines. It's been since like 2020, the 2010s. As technology improves, so did the ability to use real-time data in everyday transactions. With everyone having smartphones, it's become much easier for companies to do this from forms of prices that adjust to real times. Instacart, an online grocery delivery service, also uses price models. Instacart uses Eversight, an AI-powered pricing tool that tests the price people will pay for something. Ooh, interesting. I should let my sister know. My sister is a big Instacart person. A dynamic pricing and the use of AI moves into the fast food companies risk confusing customers and even losing customers. After considerable public pushback, Wendy is now framing their dynamic pricing strategy as a discount during off-peak times instead of surge pricing during peak. That's about right. So yeah. So the if that was their true intention, then I would have gone for that. I would have been for it.
Yeah.
But I think
they were just testing it out.
Well, they haven't implemented it yet. It's going to be implemented. So
yeah.
It just, when it came out during probably during their shareholders meeting or something, probably, or something when the talks were happening, the words price surging happened. Like, oh, and then you know how the internet works. Just went and people take the word and like
run wild with it.
And then Wendy has to make kind of some like, okay, this is what's actually happened. You gotta fix it before it gets too out of hand. And we'll see how it turns out. And if it works out, it might be a positive. But once again, it's one of those things where I was saying earlier, a lot of the time people, when I would say the average individual will not buy less when it's cheaper, they'll buy more. And I think that's what they're really going for, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just because that's kind of how individuals are. Just like, I've seen it time and time again. What do you think of how the industry's been changing in these times with this?
It's hard because I can't eat a lot of these foods anyways. They're not catered for me, the one who has allergies. You know what I mean? So I don't really...
A curse or a blessing?
I don't know if it's a curse or a blessing. It's a curse that I can't go out and I have to be conscientious of what I eat, how it's done or everything. So yes, it does make me like, okay, how can I make this not unconscientious? But it is, it makes me think, okay, so and so wants to go out to eat. Where are we going to eat? I gotta find a place that can cater to me, or I can find a menu item that I can eat that it sounds interesting to eat. It was like a couple years ago? We were going to do a team meeting, like basically my pharmacy group was gonna have dinner together, a happy hour, and it was cool. And they all wanted to go to this one place because they had following the acts. My only choice was a salad. Do you think I would have been pleased to drink and eat a salad? That looks so wrong, and it's so gross. Salads and drinking do not mix. But I'm just saying, like, it doesn't work. You have to be conscientious. And I think I'm constantly making that effort with my coworkers. It's like, I can't eat it. I'll look at it. It looks amazing. Looks good to eat. I can't eat it. Thank you, though. They're like, oh, it's got gluten. I'm like, yeah, I can't eat gluten. It's just not, it does not work with my body. It just doesn't. And so, honestly, it really is. I don't know if I'm obviously going off on a tangent here. But I mean, like, for me, it doesn't really affect me. I mean, if I buy that one burger maybe once a week for the kiddo, then is it really that bad? No, it's that one burger that I buy. So I pay $5 for that burger or that Happy Meal or whatever that is, you know. Does it bother me? Not really. It's $5. Okay, done. Moving on.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't bother me as much. I'm not... Well, of course, at the end of this month, I'll be traveling so much that I will have to think of things that I'll have to eat. I can eat.
Oh, yeah. You're going to have to start hunting down places more. Can't go back to your comfort places. All right. Well, you can let us know when you come back from those. All right. For people, let's continue this unsatisfying thing with the whole Willy Wonka fiasco.
I'm just learning about this. What the hell happened?
So I'm going to play a little audio for everyone.
It's the Willy Wonka-inspired theme park that turned out to be anything but a golden ticket. Police were called to the venue in Glasgow over the weekend after complaints from furious parents. Children who were promised a celebration of chocolate were left in tears. Our Scotland correspondent Peter Smith has the sad tale.
In a world
Okay.
of your imagination.
The wonderfully warped world of Willy Wonka was supposed to come to life in Glasgow at the weekend. This is the magical immersive experience that was advertised, a chance for families to take a real-life journey through the dreamy chocolate factory as imagined by Roald Dahl. Now, come with me and you'll see a
That
world
looks
that was
so devastating.
lacking
For
imagination.
whoever listening, so
This was the reality of Glasgow's Wonka experience.
I'm going to pause it there.
Oh my god, it's literally nothing.
So, as you guys heard a bit of the news right there, there was supposed to be a Willy Wonka experience, or a Wonka experience because they couldn't, or Willy experience because they can't use Willy Wonka. It's a trademark. And when you showed up, all it was a nearly empty warehouse with a couple of displays, a couple workers, and I'll keep playing a bit of the news.
Nothing.
Families paid £35 a ticket.
£35?
to buy some makeshift props and posters hanging from brick walls.
Oh god, it looks so empty.
Alana brought her 2 children. Both expected, well, not this.
It's shocking, really.
How are you feeling now?
I think I can almost see the funny side of it now.
Children were disappointed.
I can see why they, yeah.
Parents were furious, complaining on social media about a shocking experience. One dad was so outraged, he called the police. Actors had been hired in to play the parts for children, but the costumes were just as disappointing.
Like, it's poor quality, it's nothing amazing.
And this was supposed to be a what?
An Oompa Loompa.
This is an Oompa Loompa costume?
Yes.
Okay.
Michael was offered £500 to work as Wonka for the weekend.
We had just been hired last minute and none of us have received a penny.
It turns out the promotional pictures were in fact pure imagination. We have verified them as being AI generated. In other words, fake. The set never could have looked like this.
Oh my
This event was
word.
organised.
Okay, so that's the first video. Well, there's 2 other videos we'll be talking about. But the first one alone just kind of gives you the general story. Double checking with Liz. Liz, you saw the It News one, right?
Yeah, the first one.
Okay,
Yeah, you
so yeah.
posted.
So what are your thoughts just hearing the initial story here?
I am like absolutely devastated in the fact that they use that Illuminati AI to create this wonderful thing. You expect it's supposed to be awesome, and you walk into like
That
it looks like a homeless compound. I'm not gonna lie, it looked like a homeless compound. Like boxes, maybe a drape of some sort to make it magical. But the fact that he wouldn't do any refunds and wouldn't like compensate, and he like, really? Come on.
So yeah, this is one of those things where 2 things. 1, you're screwing over a lot of families. 2, you're ruining children's experience here. Like that because the idea of like, oh, you're gonna go to a basically kind of like a little theme park, right? A Willy Wonka theme park. As a kid, I would have been ecstatic doing that. I had somewhat of a similar experience to this back in my childhood, where I went to a Pokemon convention, and it was somewhat not as bad as this. It was still organized properly, but definitely it was a large empty space. But it still was not as decrepit as this, you know. It was mismanaged, and we'll get more into it behind the person and everything. So let's go into the third one by Ed Inberg.
I have all new details about that viral Willy Wonka experience in Scotland, especially on the mastermind behind it, and it is way crazier than you thought. I'm sure you've all seen the story by now. People paid $45 for an immersive
it's $45
Willy Wonka
American
experience, and when they got there, it was just an empty warehouse and a handful of props and the world's saddest Oompa Loompa. Kids were literally crying, and parents got so mad they actually called the cops on the place. It was put on by this company called House of Illuminati, which is really just one guy named Billy Cole.
So Billy Cole is the guy that's behind all this.
And he is something. He used ChatGPT to generate everything, which appears to be his MO, because he wrote and published 17 novels on Amazon in 1 year, and they are all AI generated. He calls himself an enigmatic wordsmith and a rising star in the literary world, a blurb which was also written by AI, presumably. The night before they opened, he gave the actors a giant 15-page script that was written by a machine and told them to learn it, but none of it made sense with any of the props and sets they had. Like the Twilight Tunnel, this is what the guests were expecting and what the actors were anticipating interacting with, and it was meant to be this portal filled with twinkling lights that was going to transport you to the chocolate dimension, but instead it was just these black curtains on either side with these checkerboard posters on it and mirrors. Like, what is that supposed to be?
What is that guy?
Here's some of the lines from it. There is a man who lives here. His name is not known, so we call him the Unknown. The Unknown is an evil chocolate maker who lives in the walls. Yeah, look at that guy with the silver mask. That is the Unknown. That is nightmare fuel. Parents paid $45 for this image to be burned in their children's brains for the rest of their lives. And this is the guy who played Willy Wonka. Sorry, just Willy. They weren't allowed to use the name Wonka. He's certainly an interesting casting choice from the Timothée Chalamet and Johnny Depp images that we're used to. At one point in the script, Willy was supposed to suck up the Unknown with a giant vacuum cleaner, but they didn't have anything like that, so they were told by Billy Cole to just improvise. It provides what? You got to give us some guidance and some prompts to make it work. So instead, after like the first group of guests went through, the actors threw the whole script out and just started interacting with the people like, hello kids, I'm Willy Wonka. Let's look at this thing over here, I guess. And the sad Oompa Loompa.
Oh, that image. We'll be talking to her. We'll be watching her response to all this.
Jelly bean room full of jelly beans. But they only had a handful of jelly beans. They had to ration them. She was giving out 3 jelly beans per kid. Look. There she is counting them.
3 jelly beans per kid. So sad.
I feel so bad for all of the actors in this. The actors did their best for like 3 to 4 hours and then threw their hands up and sided with the parents demanding refunds. And here's footage of the parents laying into Billy Cole here with his bodyguards keeping him safe. I just love the way Scottish people do this. Just listen.
So it's a scam. You've scammed children.
But this whole thing is a lesson that AI needs to be regulated ASAP because people are going to keep doing this. And I know there's going to be more about this Billy Cole guy coming soon, and I bet there's going to be criminal charges coming his way. So I will stay on top of that story, and I will bring you any updates.
So yeah. So we have a name to this whole fiasco, Billy Cole. Definitely, there's another topic when it comes to AI. We'll be
No kidding.
We'll be forward with our bonus episodes. We used AI for our bonus episodes to bring a little bit more flavor to what we were doing. There is still some human ingenuity what we did, but definitely we used AI. We won't deny that. I think we even put it in there because the thing is we're using it as a tool. We're not like making it do the thing. We're actually using it to improve on what we're doing because we wouldn't have the time to do it at this point. But this is where some people should know how to use a tool properly and not abuse it. And
He absolutely abused it completely and took people's money. Oh my god! And not we offer the refund. Like, dude, you just created a shit show, and you're like, I'm good. I can't be covered. I can't be touched. Like, fuck you, dude. Like, this is gonna happen. You're gonna get covered.
So what would you have done if you were one of these parents?
I would have been pissed. I've been like definitely up in the face, be like, I just demand a refund. This was not what I was expecting whatsoever. I'm disappointed. Like, give me my refund.
So what sucks is there's been a lot of backlash. Hopefully there is some cause. I don't know any of the laws that belong to, I believe, Ireland.
It's actually Scotland.
Scotland. Thank you.
Country's right. Scotland.
All right. Thank you.
Hey,
thank you.
come on.
This is where Liz corrects me. But definitely there's going to be some that should be. We'll see how it turns out. But definitely, it's one of those things where some of the actors were getting backlash. So we'll be listening to one of their statements.
So basically, I am the girl from the Wonka event. I never wanted this to go as big as it was. I'm actually a very private person. Very private. I don't even really use social media. As you can see on my Twitter and on this is the first time I'm actually posting on. But I feel like I need to have my say of what's went on because I think I've got every right to, but since I've became a global... Anyway, I do see the humour in it. It is really funny. My friends and my family we all are laughing about it. I laugh with the other actors about it, about how bizarre this actually has went. I don't even look like the picture at all. Getting called a 50-year-old meth head is not great. But yeah, the whole thing was bizarre. The whole time I was actually... I think by that point, actually, everyone walked off set, but then I felt bad for the kids. So all I tried to do was try and uplift everyone's spirits and just have a bit of fun with the kids. And I think some of the people at the event could vouch for me for that. But the comments are savage. Very savage. And not very nice. I think people need to learn to be a wee bit more kind and realise that people are just human beings and I'm just a normal 30-year-old woman from Glasgow who did a job that is the worst acting job I've ever done in my life. I love my job. I really do. I do other stuff. It's just the whole thing's mental, to be honest with you. But I just don't know what else to really say. I'm just speechless. I've not had my phone on for 2 days because this has just been too much. I do see the funny side of it. Don't know what else to say. This is just mental. I didn't really want my image to go else. I'm sure, I've not authorised my images going on TV or anything like that. So it's been a bit much, and it's not me. It's not me at all. I'm not a social media gal. I'm pretty chill. I'm pretty laid back. This is just a bit bizarre. But I do, honestly, it is funny, and I've laughed so much at it as well. The other actors have laughed so much at it as well. But just looking at the Twitter comments, it's just like, wow. Wow. Mental.
Oh yeah, it's definitely, it's awful for some people, potentially career ending sometimes. And then apparently as you saw as you listened, there was like people, there's one other actor who was playing the Wonka character. Play that audio.
Freediving is diving into yourself, diving into your feelings.
Stupid ad. You apologize. But yeah, we have a bit of the actor who's playing the Willie character talk about his experience in it. But some people got it rough in social media. I don't blame them. You know, it's funny at the end of the day, but it can be detrimental to someone's career if that's where your career is. Okay.
I'm wondering when you first suspected that something was off about this gig.
So I basically got offered the gig on Thursday. I think it was when I received the script, and upon reading it, it was AI generated, just nonsense. It was 15 long, and I had 1 day to learn it, and to say it made no sense is an understatement. So I think that was probably my first red flag that there's something's not quite right at my chocolate factory.
And it was scary. It sounds like what AI generated. This was pretty terrifying for the kids. And tell us a little bit about that. And also that it appeared there was really no chocolate, no candy.
No chocolate, sad.
They're being terrified.
Yes, why would there be chocolate at the chocolate factory? No, we were asked to give the children a couple of, like, 1 or 2 jelly beans and a quarter of a cup of lemonade. It was bad. The script was absolute just nonsense. You were saying about the scary parts. One of my favorite lines was, there was a line that was, there is a man. He is known as the Unknown. The Unknown is an evil chocolate maker who lives in the walls. And I, to this day, do not know what that means.
I don't want to know what that means, Paul. That sounds terrible.
Oh, God. That is ridiculous. So, like, last minute preparations, like Christmas, Halloween decorations. What's someone to do when that's what you get as a production, right?
Yeah, absolutely nonsense. It really is nonsense. It really didn't make any sense. It had no rhyme or reason. The fact that it was crappy, they didn't do any energy into what they created, which is it really then artistic? No, it's really just a snap of the finger, like you're being a lazy ass. You can't come up with it mentally. You can't make it happen for anybody. And it's just like, here you go, guys. Just make this work. Like, toss it up in the air. It's going to be 35 pounds versus $45 in American. Ugh. Like, sucks.
That's
like major balls.
Yeah. God, it's disappointing. I hope the best. I hope the actors get their money. I hope the people get their refunds. It's going to be a long fight, it seems, because this guy doesn't seem like the type to push over easily. So
he's just laughing at everybody. He's like, "Ha, you fought for that shit." Ha ha.
You would think at least
repercussions.
You would at least think there would be chocolate at a chocolate factory.
And even like the simplest things. Nope.
If you
ration out jelly beans and a quarter of a cup of lemonade.
Oh God.
That's all you guys get.
So my question to you here is, if you were a kid in this, would this would this be a core memory to remember that ruined your childhood?
Oh yeah, it would be one of my core memories. I would definitely remember as it being like the saddest event that I ever went to.
Scary too, apparently.
Yeah, I'd be like, that guy still haunts my dreams. Unknown in the wall. Okay.
Oh man, so rough. All right. But yeah, let's wish the best for everyone. Hope that it works out. We'll probably hear more about this story in the future. Definitely there needs to be a little bit more regulation when it comes to things. Like we mentioned earlier, AI has been in the news for the last couple months, maybe even the last 2-3 years, because it's been improving so much. But if used properly, it's not that bad. It can be utilized properly. Like I said, most of the future stuff we're doing, we're using AI as a tool to help us. It's not going to make a 100% product, but it's helping us.
Yeah, we improvise it too. It's not, we tweak it too. It's not like we give it what we want it to, but then we tweak it too because it makes an advantage for us. So.
And so the stuff that's going to be coming out for the bonuses, they were fun. I still to this day I think me and Liz were having some of the best fun making those things with it. But yeah, you can let us know your thoughts when those things come out. But yeah, any final thoughts as far as this discussion?
Nope. I just feel sorry for the people in Glasgow, and I hope they get their money's worth, whether that be the refund for the parents or the paying the actors their wages. So
okay,
that's their job too.
All right, then we're gonna give us a moment. We're gonna be watching a video. All right, guys, we're back. We're gonna be watching an Asmongold video. Actually, we're gonna be watching two, but this is the first one.
I actually wasn't even planning on streaming today. I was like, I think I'm gonna just take the day off. But I started reading Twitter. I was like, man, there's a lot of retards. Like, we gotta talk about this. Millionaire streamer Hassan Piker claims that a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you in the same way that streaming will. And the funny thing.
Okay, what are your thoughts on that statement?
Read the statement again. Millionaire streamer.
I'll just read the statement that's been posted by a Twitter user. The Twitter user posts, "A real job doesn't suck the soul out of you in the same way that streaming absolutely will." What is your thoughts on the statement? Just by hearing, just initial statement. We don't know context or anything. Just hearing that.
Okay, obviously he doesn't love his job, so why does he do it then? Why do you stream then? Why, if you don't like the job? You do the job that you like, and if you love it, that's great. That's even better. But if you're not happy with the job you have, do something different. Do something else. It's not that hard. Walk away then. Don't say anything. Just do it. Just walk. Don't even say anything. Make you happy. Make you happy. That's all.
So there's a side tangent. We've talked about that. Sometimes people can't leave the job that's just draining because that's the only job.
True.
So what would you say to those people? Because
keep looking. Keep working hard to that other end. You will, if you want a job desperately and that bad that you don't like the job that you're in, you do something to create that happening, to make that happen. You don't sit in one spot. You make it happen. You make it work somehow, some way. If it's in small increments and then little chunks every month or couple years, yeah, you'll get there. You just got to keep your head high and keep dreaming. You got this.
All right, let's continue. Let's find out everything.
Thing about this is that this kid goes and he says this to try to like fucking throw up a white flag. He's like, no, I'm actually on your side. I agree with them. Bro, quit the fucking capping. Like, this kid is lying. You're lying. What do you mean you agree with this tweet when you preface it by saying millionaire streamer? You really think that we don't, like, you think I haven't spent the last 20 years seeing Fox News do this shit? Seeing CNN do this shit? He definitely is trying to roast the shit out of him. Like, what are we talking about? What a little rat. I can't believe this. It's
I'll also make preference, as the video's a little old, he Asmongold also got backlash for his take on this, but let's get more context.
It's like this guy goes and farms a bunch of hate. My message to Hassan fans, get a job, but then he agrees with the tweet. What are you doing? What a little rat. This guy farms hate on Hassan. He gets 15 people from Hassan's chat saying, I don't agree with you. You took it out of context. And then he's got to make a follow-up tweet about it. Like, oh no, stop bullying me. He changed his mind because Destiny said he agrees with Hassan. TC Brady is in Destiny's Discord. It's good to know that it wasn't really a principled stance. Let's listen to what Hassan says.
Listen to
this is the clip that's taken apparently out of context, and we'll watch the full context in a minute, okay?
Yes, a real job can be gruesome. A real job can make you very tired, but a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you. You know what I mean? In the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will. So,
okay,
yes.
So that's the original.
Okay, so there's the clip. That's the. What are your thoughts? Just hearing the 20-second clip. We'll get more context.
Wow, there's 9 hours of sucking the life out of you. Oh my gosh, man, I'd be glad to be working from home, making some big bucks. Do something you want to do. Do something you love. Like I said.
Okay.
Original clip, and there's apparently there's a clip here. It's a 2-minute clip, and so this is him explaining what actually was said.
No.
Okay, here we go.
No. Social battery wise, unless you're in fucking retail, it's very different. You're out of touch with them. I'm gonna die, dude. There's motherfuckers who are accountants in here and they're misunderstanding what I'm saying. A real job does not expend your social battery in the same fucking way as someone who did a sales job, a real job, okay? I'm telling you, as someone who did both, like 9 hours of constant performance and people pleasing taps you out from social scenarios. After 9 hours of that, I could probably do fucking physical labor. It would not bother me, but I can't fucking do more social shit. That's my point.
I'm the same way.
Like, there are obviously real jobs out there that are good comparisons. Service sector, people-pleasing jobs would be very similar. Those are like, I think, customer service type shit. But like, if you're an accountant or if you're even like in sales, my interactions with clients was limited, way more limited than like constantly having to do this for 9 hours with like a back and forth interaction for 9 hours. That's what like sucks your social battery and you just tap out after it. Yeah, think about it this way. Like, you give presentations for your job, right? Imagine giving a presentation for 9 hours straight. It's like after a while, you would be like, I don't want to talk.
Or the department manager just occasionally is just like, hey, you.
Okay, so what are your thoughts kind of hearing a full context of the...
Okay, now I understand it from that better. It's more if I get that.
Okay, so wait, before...
I kind of get it. I do kind of get it. I came from retail, you know that, and I still kind of do retail as it is. I still do human interaction for 8 hours out of my day. I interact with my coworkers 8 hours in my day, or 8.5, give or take. But yeah, I understand where that comes from. But I also have the energy and the drive to go, like last night, we went out after I've been interacting with a lot of patients, a lot of my coworkers, and making it happen. I still got the drive to come and go, all right, I'm going to go party. That's it. I'm out. I'm going. That's where my drive is. To go and have a little bit of more of an actual, more positive, emotional and drive and connection with my fellow friends to do this. So, yes, I understand that it's mentally draining. I get it. I do it. I understand it. I'm physically mentally drained. Yeah, there are some weeks I don't want to even do anything, and I go home and crash for the week, and that's my interaction. But sometimes you can find a little bit of drive and go, yeah, I want to go hang out with my friends and my social circle, and because they are going to give me life again. They're going to be able to let me vent about my job because they're not in the same industry as I am. Yeah. I kind of got it, but I think there's a point where you're like, yeah, there is a social drive that you can, if you really want it, you will do it.
I disagree with that. You're more like we've talked about this before. You gain we'll call it social battery for this. You gain energy from other people. I'm the opposite. I lose it being with other people. So that's where you people have to take this an individual level, because we need to make it as a general statement, as a general, because you're taking it as an individual right now. As a general statement, most people work-wise, we've talked about this, most people working multiple jobs in this nature just don't have the social battery to be able to go out. And there's a lot of jobs where you're not interacting with a lot of people. I myself is not, but then my schedule also doesn't help me with that either. If I was working my type of schedule, but not working graveyard, my social battery would be a lot more in equilibrium with like the average person. But definitely I would be having to socialize and people please a little bit more than I would. And this is when it becomes individualized. I'm, like I said earlier, the way my social battery works is other people just take away from me compared to you. So that's where I'm on the other side of yours. I can't force myself because I'm just going to be what's the best way to put it? The Debbie Downer of the environment. See, this is where we have to make generalizations for now and not pinpoint things. So that's where I'm more on the opposite side of what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
Oh, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get what you're saying too. I'm not saying, yeah, but if you really want it, you would do it though. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying like, oh, you have to. No, just if you want it, you.
That's what I said. If you want it, that's fine. But some people they just need to take a moment to decompress. So that's where he's going by. And the second point of this is the other part is just how, once again, the internet took this into, you went wild just hearing the first 20 seconds of that clip. If I sent you that clip, you would like, ooh, you just went off just hearing 20 seconds. You can imagine how the internet went without context.
Yeah.
So you did exactly.
You only gave me 20 seconds. So if you given me a full minute or two, I would have understood more.
Exactly, but sometimes the internet doesn't care about everything. So you did exactly what the internet did, and I that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted people to hear how the internet would react. So you were the perfect like guinea pig, basically.
Oh, thanks, hon.
yeah, because you're not on the internet as much as I am to this. So you are a perfect example of the general populace. If I gave you this clip, and you would give me a non-biased reaction, right? I think that's fair to say. Like you have a general idea of what you would be like a general what is it demographic where I'm like, okay, let's hear what you're like the perfect person to give. That's why this podcast works, is because you're able to give a non like a internet toxic person perspective who's on there so much, and you did exactly what I thought you would do. And then once the thing is, then it's, but you took the time to hear the actual context, and then that's what then we can actually have a proper discussion on it. I don't think there's more to the video besides them talking and kind of because we can just purely discuss ourselves kind of what's happening here. So I'm just gonna let this play in the background while we talk. So wait, was it not playing?
No.
So yeah, I'll let it play in the background. So what are your thoughts when people, because we've been seeing this discussion of people saying my job's harder than others. It's just things. What are your thoughts on how people have been saying these things these days? Like, definitely everyone's job is difficult in one way or another. That's to say it can be.
I absolutely agree. Some jobs are harder than others. Some jobs are easier than others, depending on what it is. But we've never actually worked the field. Like, if we never worked in business, and we have no idea what it's like. We've actually never been in business, but I mean, like, we can't really say that's an easy job. We can say it is, but some person who actually does it for a living, day in and day out, say, no, this is really hard. You have to do A, B, and C, and then you gotta get X and Y and Z to get this to work. So I understand it from a lot of perspective. Like, yeah, we don't really know how everybody's taking it day in and day out. Yes, the energy levels are going to be dwindled down, especially if you're a single parent or a family and you have to think about the other people in the home. You're literally trying to decompress, but you can't really decompress because you still have to do, normal life chores. So I get it. Yeah, I get it. Like, you're drained. You're mentally drained from working. That job might be exhausting to you. What many people say it's easy is not really that easy some days, so. Yeah, I kind of get it. I get it.
So now, then, what are you, in just the general statement he made, do you agree or disagree?
I agree.
So,
I agree. That it is I mean, each person that says it, he may say it's an easy job, but it may not be an easy job at all.
So yeah,
and it might be physically and mentally draining. So.
Definitely, at least my job, it's not mentally draining. Physically, it's hard. And actually, it can be a little bit mentally just because of the hours. It's a mix of it. And definitely, you're dealing with a lot of small tasks that build up, and then you're just in emergency rooms left and right. So there's you have multiple tasks that can accumulate. Where mine are just they're big ones, but that are detrimental in a general sense. And then you just been having a rough schedule too. Like you're just like a mountain of catastrophe.
Yeah. Like I said, Monday was my, split of doing one department and going to the next. And Thursday it was. Yeah. Someone called out and I was doing both departments. I'm thankful I didn't make a flaw or mistake, but it definitely mentally wore me out. And Friday I was kind of tapped out. So, but I wanted to be out and wanted to have some fun to like decompress and de-stress from my week of chaos. And I think that's what I did yesterday. It was like I gained some energy because I got that, that relievement that that
recharge. You got the recharge.
It got out of my system. It recharged me, and that's what I needed. Because especially after what happened Friday, I definitely needed that. I needed it. I needed it. Like my job has been stressful. It has been really mentally fatiguing on myself. Like I was going into bed early at 9 10 o'clock at night, I was pooped. I was gone. Like, I understand where you're getting from. I come from. I get it. I absolutely do. And then not having the mental capacity to do anything.
Okay.
No.
All right. I think we're both in agreement. Once we actually have the full context of it. All right. We're going to jump into another Asmongold clip. But I think before we finish this topic, it's one of those things where, once again, I think when it comes to any news, I think it's best to always find the full context of anything, because as we saw, Liz was a good example of like what happens when you just read a news article.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, give us 1 second, everyone.
Me the guinea pig, damn it.
All right, everyone, we're back. So let's watch another Asmongold clip.
Oh, this girl. I guess I should talk about this. This girl got suspended on Twitch. This was hinged? No. We'll listen to what she says.
That sin is not an identity. And LGBT is not an identity. It's not real. It is all sin that goes against God's design. So society has called this sin an identity to normalize it. Andrew Robb, thank you so much. 10 gifted kick subs. Thank you. But yeah, the concept of sexualities isn't real. There is what God designed, which is a husband and a wife, and then there's sin. That is it. The whole notion and concept of, oh, everybody has different sexualities, that was designed to normalize sin. And that's also a slippery slope because of pervs out there who I have to be careful with.
The implication of what she's saying is that if you're okay with gay people, then some people that are pedophiles will try to touch kids. That's what she's saying. We know the slippery slope. We know exactly what she's implying. That's what she's saying.
Okay. Besides what Asmongold said, what are your thoughts when she said that?
I was really confused by what is she going for? Like, what is she aiming for? What is her context? What is she trying to get to? Because I feel like that I'm still missing something. There's a piece that I'm missing. There's like an information. Where is she going with this? Like, I don't understand what is she trying to imply? What is she trying to say? I want to know what she's trying to say.
How I phrase things because of, social media censorship, YouTube censorship. But just think about it. People can, whenever this whole idea
doesn't bother me, I'll
there's
say
different
it.
Sexualities. Well, that's a big umbrella term, and people can apply that to.
What are you talking about? People get mad at me? Look this up. This is an extremely common line of argumentation. This is extremely, extremely common. Anybody who's been following this discourse over the last 15 years will agree with me. If you just started paying attention to this stuff and you're 19 or something like that in the chat, you probably don't get the context of it.
That's kind of true. It's been a topic
Absolutely.
of recent
Let's
years.
just say, for the purpose of YouTube, all things like unspeakable things, umbrella term, and people can apply that to worse and worse and worse things, like unspeakable things. Let's just say.
So this again, you see what she's implying, right? She's implying that because you're born with your sexuality, then anything that you're born with is okay. Well, this is clearly not true, and nobody really thinks this. There are plenty of things that people are born with that, for example, they can't do. Like, if you're born blind, you probably can't get a driver's license. So just because you're...
Okay, let's, before Asmon goes into kind of his spiel, what are your thoughts?
I'm still confused. I don't know what she's trying to imply. Like, I'm not quite getting it, but I kind of do.
So what do you think she's trying to say at the moment?
I'm really just confused. I'm really genuinely confused. What she's trying to imply. This umbrella that you're born with,
it's not real.
That allows. That's what I'm saying. I'm confused. I'm literally genuinely confused because she's not really giving me a straight sentences. It kind of blips and pieces, and it's not.
So
she's
trying to be as to her point. She's trying to censor herself enough so she doesn't get in trouble by the services she's streaming on at the moment. That's definitely one thing. The other thing is, from what we can tell from just this clip, is that one, she to her right, she's she has all the right to say it, where she believes in her religious beliefs, where she believes there's like only a man and a woman, and that any other basically blanket sexualities are just labeled as sin, to simply put. Or is that did I get that wrong from what I heard from her take?
I think that's what I understood too, but I'm like, really? I don't think it's sin. God loves thy neighbor, irregardless of the sin. I grew up with that saying a long time ago.
That the thing is, where this is one of those things where these types of topics have been popping up a lot in the last few years, right? There's been a lot of just a lot of LGBT plus of support and things of that nature, but we've also seen the opposite spectrum of this, where we've seen a lot of the negative, and it's one of those things where the people on platforms are just putting the content out, and everyone for the most part has the right to say what they want to believe, right?
Yeah, that's their opinion.
It's their opinion. It's their belief.
It agrees with me. It's not my field. I don't. That's what they want to think. That's what they feel like they think. Go for it. I'm not going to argue. That's not my opinion. I can't. But my opinion is different from them. That's for sure. I can say that for fact.
The thing is, now then it becomes is when it started to be into the public opinion, when you're changing the norm of what them things are, and using the aspect of religion as a shield. That's where they can say that because, oh yeah, it's within my religion, and then you can't say anything against that. But definitely religion has been used as a shield a lot, and we've read stories that some religions aren't that great, like some of the things that happen.
Yeah.
So
all religions have some sort of negative connotation. It has not stopped, irregardless of what we want to say.
Mostly when you're taking following mostly a book that's been written over thousands of years ago, that's where it gets iffy. And this is just my thoughts, is we as a group of humans have evolved a lot, and we should be able to evolve our thoughts and beliefs to the current ways. Not only our beliefs, our laws, our rules, our regulations should be to what's happening in the days of now. Not what was happening
days of old.
Yeah. There's definitely there's good things that come from. That's why there's good folklore, and there's good children's tales that have these these what is it
morals. The compass of morals. So I mean, I understand it. Stealing is wrong. Absolutely, it doesn't matter, unless it's for a good reason. Obviously, there's some good reasons behind it. If you're trying to feed your family who have no meal for the day, I get it. I understand it. Yeah, I get it. Those are great bases, but we need to evolve. This is not the same time period. We didn't have phones or technology and back then 1,000+ years ago.
So this is where, yeah. And that's when it comes to when people are making these statements and are just using, I'm saying this just because the book says it. That defense is
the Bible says it. This book that's, not been rewritten in 2,000+ years.
That's when it's just saying, it's just it's similar to kind of just saying if some what's a good example, if because Hitler says this is fine, Like you're doing something wrong just because yeah he said that. This is right. And we can see what happened when that happened. Like that led to a lot of horrific stuff. So let's see if there's anything more to this.
You're born a certain way doesn't mean society has to accommodate it. That's never how things have worked. It's such a crazy thing to say. In Canada, you can. There's no way, right? There's no way that's true, right? No, he's dumb. Okay, all right, good. I mean, it's Canada, so like I don't know, but all right.
For the purpose of YouTube, I'll just say like animals, for example. People can say, well, that's my
You see what she's implying.
sexuality, like they're attracted to dogs like that or something.
Yeah, but the dog didn't consent. That's the difference. Like, it's so crazy to me that how do you not understand the difference between consenting adults and not? Like, I don't, how is it possible that people still can't figure this out? It's nuts.
Right. So that's why I don't know, it just hit me today. It hit me, I felt it in my spirit. Sexualities aren't real. It's
I wonder what these.
Oh yeah, it just hit her one morning. That statement.
Sorry for the interruption, guys.
So yeah, that kind of sometimes where some things come up. So let's see what does he actually say.
People would do if an actual theocracy took over. Guys, who here is enough of a fucking boomer to remember the satanic panic with Pokemon? So what happens whenever the theocracy takes over and they just decide to burn her for being a witch that supports witchcraft and monsters? Why not? I mean, you want to run things based off the Bible. You want to make decisions based off what the Bible and what these books that are thousands of years old think to do. Go on ahead. But the idea that a girl like this with tattoos all over her, that is wearing a low-cut t-shirt with what's considered to be a demon by some people that are religious, she somehow thinks that she's going to be living in a utopia if there's a theocracy. She is so delusional and out of her fucking mind. It is amazing to me. I wish people like this, we could get together and do a GoFundMe to send them to the most religiously restrictive country in the world. And then they can stay there and they'll be happy. Send them to the Taliban. Send them to ISIS. And then maybe they'll understand why things are the way they are. That's
true. There are a lot of, because we're Americans, so we have these freedoms for the most part. So that's why when even though we like bashing on how the economy is in America is, how bad some situations in America is, we're still one of the freest countries in the world, which it still leaves us to a lot of people trying to come to America for how bad it is at times. I will never deny that. It's still one of those things. But people have to remember that there are parts of the world that are in these types of reigns, right? There are religious reigns. There are still monarchy reigns in some countries where they're run by kings and queens still. And like I think what was it? Was it during the World Cup? Was it Qatar when we were talking about that sheet where you're like you're not allowed to be gay in public or something like that? Yeah. There are countries where you will literally get stoned to death because of that. This is sometimes people forget that there are literal countries that are still run by these theocracies, basically. Like And like going back to what Asmongold said too, like the Salem witch trials, even back in the 90s when people were trying to fight evolution because of Pokemon.
I know, right? That was crazy. I was like, it's a kids game. It's just imagination. I mean, come on, y'all. It almost makes me go back to The Handmaid's Tale. This is like an absolute setup for The Handmaid's Tale.
And that's the thing. No? And that's the thing is
I mean, like the idea, the concept of it. Remember that they banned it too, and that ideal.
Yeah, and it's just, what are your thoughts? What are your just general thoughts when people are just spouting this stuff on a public platform? Like we both agree.
I guess if they had the people to see it, I mean, I don't understand, but I absolutely disagree with what she's going with and what she's saying. But she has the platform. She's using it for what she wants to do. We can't say anything. It's freedom of speech, right? Here in America, it's freedom of speech.
Oh, we can say what we thought. Well, we can say what we want to think too.
Oh, absolutely. I absolutely disagree with her. I have a kid. I have cousins. I mean, I was disappointed when my family did not allow me to be any part of my cousin's life. Like, that hurt me incredibly, especially because they were homosexual. So
they were sinners, Liz. They were sinners.
They're sinners. So what? I don't see them like that. That's not me. That's their life, and that makes them happy mentally, and the physical compounds of their body saying this is what it is. Yes, so be it. But are we can't change how our bodies react to things, you know? Yes, there's some things that should, draw the line. Like, yes, but honestly,
yeah, that's kind of what that's where the quote, the slippery slope. And for anyone who's wondering what the slippery slope thing is, do you know what it is before I explain it?
Basically, that they were saying like, oh, well, we can do this to children and animals and etc. and other things of that nature. Yes.
Yeah, it's where you're like, oh, I'm attracted to women, men, non-binary, blah, that. Then it's like, oh, then it should also be for like the children, the animals, the inanimate objects, concepts. It's like, that's where the slippery slope comes, and it's definitely been a thing that's been happening for the last couple of years, because we've talked about like homosexuals being
characters
being classified as pedophiles down in and that's nothing new. It's been happening for the last couple, like probably the last decade or so, or forever at this point, but it's more public eye now thanks to social media. And there's been laws being pushed too. I think we talked about the Florida law, remember, that was going crazy. Mm-hmm. And it definitely, the thing is, like we mentioned, like everyone's allowed to say and believe what they want to believe, but don't get mad when the everyday individual is upset with you, because that's not what the societal norm is. Because like we were mentioning before, it becomes very apparent when what I said earlier is like we should evolve with the times, with what's happening with the environment and stuff like that, and avoid living in the past, basically, and just take what the positives of the past and move forward, but not forgetting what was the negatives. Yeah. Any thoughts? Any final thoughts on this?
No, I absolutely agree with you that we should be moving with the times. We should evolve with the times. I mean, that's what we are. We're human. We evolve. We adapt. If we didn't adapt, we'd be still living in stone caves and trying to make fire every night. I mean, if we didn't adapt, we didn't learn, we didn't grow, we wouldn't get to where we are with technology and everything. I mean, maybe still in the Stone Age.
All right, then. Give us 1 second, everyone. All right. So, any final thoughts, Liz, of the episode?
Obviously, you made me too much of a guinea pig, and I'm actually second doubting myself every time I read an article now. Be like, I gotta get the full context now.
Always get the full context, Liz.
If I had so much time in the world, I would do what I could.
Trust me. I think
what I have.
I think it's best for you to be our initial, just be our audience's thoughts.
All right.
You exactly.
I don't like this. Isn't that how you treat the birthday girl?
But wait, dude, I don't think this episode releases on that. So
no, it releases the day before.
But you play a trick on the birthday girl every once in a while. So
yes.
So, all right, everyone. Thank you for listening and watching, Liz. Thank you for joining us.
And thank you for having me. Usual.
Let us know your guys' thoughts on any of the topics we talked about today. Because, like I said, you guys have the right to let us know what you guys think. We'll read them down in the comments. We do go through them, so let us know. Yeah. Also, don't forget to wish Liz a happy birthday on if not on the comments here on the video, but visit her Instagram or TikTok, follow her. And yeah, so everyone, thanks again for listening or watching. Until next time, see ya.
Bye.